Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the One Pot Wonder once again. Today is our last class of this session, and we've done 8 sessions of 6 weeks, so we're feeling pretty blessed to be able to offer this program as long as we have. And so before we get started, I just want to give a great big thank you to all our sponsors and to our volunteers, and to just let our community know that without the community support and the volunteers, we would not be able to run this program. We've been also very blessed to be able to have the grants that we've had through the Alberta government, and with this last session, it was with the Community Initiatives Program. So we've had variations of support financially, and it's been great. Very successful. So today we are making loaded potato soup. You should have potatoes and milk, some cheddar cheese, onions, some garlic, some butter, your bacon, and your green onions and sour cream. So hopefully you guys will like this. If you have allergies to dairy, you could just switch it up and make yourself some bacon and eggs and fried potatoes, which is also nice. So you've got a bit of a variation that you can do. So today we're going to offer the soup to you and just kind of switch it up a bit to help you learn how to make a soup. And also I forgot to mention your bouillon, which we'll go through when we start to build the soup and the broth. So we're going to get started. We're going to finish peeling our potatoes, and we'll be back. So we've started to prepare the bacon, and we have cut up the potatoes into bite-sized pieces. We have them in water, and they are cooking. With that water, it's really good to put a little salt in your water, and that just kind of helps to take some of the starch off. But after your potatoes are done, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but don't drain your water off. We're going to use some of that water for your soup base. So while the potatoes are cooking, we're going to get this bacon on. Today we've just used some parchment paper and a cookie sheet. You don't have to. You can do this in a frying pan, but today we're going to put this in the oven and cook it that way. And this is, you can use this for kind of the top of your soup, or you can add a little bit in your soup if you choose. It's entirely up to you. Because we have like the cheese, the sour cream, the bacon, and the green onions. That is all part of why it's called loaded potato, because it's just like a baked potato, except that it is a soup. And so we're going to put this in the oven about what do you have that temperature, Kim? 350.
350. Yeah,
350 is a kind of a golden number when you're baking anything. I would start there, and you can kind of judge your excuse me, I just need to wash my hand off. You can kind of judge your heat from 350. So we're gonna get the bacon in the oven, and we'll be back shortly. Our potatoes are still boiling, and we have our bacon in the oven on parchment paper, which is very different from wax paper. Parchment paper has no wax on it, and it's you can cook with it in your oven, or you can use it inside of like a lunch bag, or anything that's kind of, you need a little bit of extra protection. It's great stuff. I use it. It's very versatile. So we've cut up these onions and the green onions. We're not going to cook the green onions. I just have them on the same platform there. So we're going to put our onions, and there's also chopped garlic in here. You don't need a huge amount, but because I've doubled the recipe that you will be getting in your bag, I've used 5 garlic cloves, and I've just cut them and chopped them up. And we've taken a few tablespoons of grease off of the bacon that's cooking. So that's just to kind of give it a little bit of extra flavor in your cooking of your onions and garlic. And so we're gonna let this saute until it's transparent. So it's, so that those are cooked. And then while we're doing that, I have some hot water. I have a cup of hot water, and I've taken the chicken bouillon, and I'm gonna just kind of crumble these up into the hot water and stir that about. Now this will kind of look like brown sugar to you, but when it's into your liquids, it will change, it will dissolve. So don't worry that if you've never used this kind of bouillon before, but it does dissolve into your liquid. And so to start, I'm gonna just use 2 cubes. And you can kind of check out the flavor of it once we have everything together. If you feel it needs a bit more, you know, kind of add to your own taste buds. But remember, it's not chicken flavoring broth that you want. It's just to add an accent to your potato soup. And in a lot of different soups, you can use a chicken or a beef base, just to kind of give it a little extra flavoring. So we're gonna, my water isn't very hot, Kim. But that's okay, because we're just going to, I could have just crumbled it right inside. Look at this. I thought it was hotter than that. I was talking too much. But it will dissolve. So,
it dissolves quite fast.
yeah, it does. So we'll put that in, and we're just gonna stir it up and let this saute a little bit. And so once we have that, actually what I'm gonna do too while we're here is I'm gonna put half of the, you should have at least 1 block of butter. We're gonna put a half of this block into this. And so once this is kind of started to, the onions are kind of sauteed and the butter's melted and things are kind of bubbling, we're going to add in some flour, which is basically what is called a roux. And that just gives you, it's gonna give you a bit of a pasty base. And that is what's gonna be your thickener for your soup. Oops. So that's what will help you to thicken your soup so that it's becomes a bit more creamier. So one thing I did want to mention, for those that are lactose intolerant, because this is a dairy base, you could use almond milk or coconut milk in lieu of the milk products. I'm not sure if you're able to have cheese. You don't have to put your cheese, if you can't have it, you don't have to put your cheese in your soup or your sour cream. And it is just quite as yummy with it without it too. So, because I don't really think there is a substitute for cheese.
You can get lactose free or soy.
Oh yes, that's right too.
Yeah, because my kids can't do dairy.
Yeah, good point.
And the gluten, you can substitute cornstarch for your flour.
Yes, and there is flour coming in your bags. So for those that, this might not be a great recipe for you if you're lactose intolerant, but you could also, like I was saying earlier, you could make bacon and eggs and fried potatoes. So you will have an alternative if you're not interested in the loaded potato soup. So we're gonna just let this cook a little bit and we'll be back shortly. So we've spent about a little over 10 minutes or so on these onions, waiting for them to saute. And now you can see how they're kind of really nice and golden brown. And they've kind of developed a bit of just its own caramelizing, I guess. That's a great word. So I did add, I added 3 tablespoons of bacon fat into this process. And now we're going to take some flour and we're going to put this in to, as you can see, I didn't measure that, but this is about 4 tablespoons. And we're just going to make this into a paste. And the reason we do this first, we don't just dump it into the soup, is because it will go into your soup really, really lumpy. Whereas if you're doing this into your paste, into separating it, then we will add this in and it will, because you're going to add your milk into this.
Your consistency will be better.
Yeah, because you don't want it to be really lumpy. And so you're going to need about, I'm going to use about 4 cups of milk in this. And I'm going to take my whisk. If you don't have a whisk, just use a big fork, or I mean even your big spoon's fine. You just have to kind of whisk it quickly so that it, actually here, I'll give you this one. Yep, switching it out. So we're gonna just take the lumps out of this, and this will, and this is kind of your base into your soup to thicken it. And so the potatoes in here are finished, and you want to try to keep your potatoes, we're going to drain a little bit of that water off, but we're going to keep that potato water because that's going to give you your extra flavoring. All right, so that is ready to go. Our bacon is ready to go. And by cooking your bacon in the oven, it just allows for it not to be all crumpled up into balls, and because you're just laying it out onto your cookie sheet, and it doesn't burn. And that was done at 350, the temperature 350, and we're going to take just a touch of the water off of these potatoes. We've overcooked them, which is what we want. We just want to take a little bit of the liquid off. Well, maybe not. Yeah, we could maybe, no, I don't think we will, because it's, you know, it's not a huge amount. So let's, we're going to add this right into the soup. And, ooh. Then, we're gonna take, where's my big spoon gone? Okay, 1 sec. So, we're gonna take a potato masher, and we're just going to mash the potatoes down a little bit, not totally down. We just want to mash it down a touch so that it's not just big lumps of potatoes. And you can add salt and pepper to taste. And then you could add some of your bacon right into your soup if you choose, or you could just put it on top, whichever you prefer. And then we're just going to You see how this is becoming kind of more creamy, and it's got see, like, we want to try to get rid of some of those big lumps in those potatoes. And I think we'll let this cook just a little bit longer. I think I might add just a little bit of extra milk in here, just because it's almost a little too thick. Unless you like your soup really, really thick. And we're gonna add some salt and pepper into it too.
You could puree it as well if you
Oh,
wanted to.
yeah, if you didn't want to have just the lumpy potatoes, for sure. Okay, so let's just keep the camera rolling for a minute.
It's a fun soup to play with because you can spice it up with paprika and stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah, you could add a lot of different flavors in there. And I think I am gonna add in I think we will add the bacon right in. And we'll just break it up into some pieces. We'll keep a little bit for a garnish if you like. And then, so once your soup is complete, which we are close to, we can you could add a little bit of your cheese into your soup if you want to add to make it a little cheesier. Or you can just add your cheese on top. I think we will add a little bit of cheese in there just to add a little extra flavor. And we'll just finish this up here, and then we can put the cheese in.
Something that's nice to add, especially when it's on sale, is a bit of cream cheese.
Oh, I never thought of cream cheese. That's a good idea.
It's even better when it's on sale.
Yeah.
Because you can also get lactose-free cream cheese now at Walmart.
Oh, very cool. Okay. So we're gonna add a little bit of pepper into this mix. And we'll add some salt. You don't have to add salt, but it certainly is nice with the potato. And you can also add your own as you. All right, so there we go. So we're gonna put this out into a bowl and we'll be right back. So we finished up our soup today, and we turned off the camera because we were just so anxious to try this soup. So it was very successful. It was very yummy for everybody and not a lot left, so that's a good thing. So just a reminder that today is our last class for this group, and we'd like to thank you all for participating. It would be really appreciated if you could give us some feedback, either through Messenger or to let the people know that we're dropping off your bag, just to give us a little bit of some feedback. We will be putting up a post with a bit of a survey so that you can give us feedback there as well. And take care of yourself and each other, and we'll hope to see you again.